This is Devin Neal. You're listening to Roster Watch. This is Christian Watson, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
Yes, Roster Watch Nation, what is up, and welcome back to the epic Week 14. There's not a lot of them left. Week 14, for some people, playoff season. For some people, you're a week away from playoff season or from the season being over. Start Sit Show. I'm Cody Carpentier, as always, here on a beautiful Sunday morning, December 7th. I appreciate you guys jumping in the chat, having a good one this morning, and joining me. Should be a good Sunday. It should be a little bit better than last weekend. Last weekend, we talked about it. The slate was underwhelming from the jump. I guess would say the easiest way to put it. All the big games happened on Thursday last week, right? It was Thanksgiving. It was the Packers, Lions, the Chiefs, Cowboys, the Bengals, and Ravens, and then we had the Friday game with the Bears upsetting the Philadelphia Eagles. So we didn't have a lot of great matchups on the weekend. Blowouts, right? We talked about blowouts last Friday going into the weekend slate. Jaguars, Titans, Seahawks, and Vikings, and Bills. We thought the Bills game was going to be close. It was close for a minute until Joey Bosa completely obliterated Aaron Rodgers in that game, and that thing went sideways soon after that 7-3 halftime score. This week, hopefully we got a couple more better games on the slate. If you go over to RosterWatch.com and you're checking out many of the vast premium and pro tools over RosterWatch.com, my favorite is just to pull up this week's matchups. If you go over to the premium section, you have the DFS HyperPicks tools, you have the DFS cheat sheets to build your lineups with this morning. Then you have like the odds tool, and you can see that 80% of the bets are on the Seattle Seahawks today. 81% of the money is on the Seattle Seahawks today in Atlanta, and that's a 6.5 point game. I kind of think Atlanta's a little sneaky in this game. I think everybody, I've tweeted it out, and everyone's like, "You're dumb. That doesn't make any sense. Atlanta's going to get thumped." And I'm like, "Yeah." Then of course, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. You bought the Baltimore Ravens. We got a little bit of a black and blue divisions, what they used to call it back in the early 2000s, right? The AFC North, the NFC North, the black and blue divisions. Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, a little Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders action. There's a little inkling this week that potentially Deshaun Watson was going to get activated this year. That's not going to happen, according to reports from Adam Schefter. Indianapolis Colts and Jacksonville Jaguars. Another massive one as far as AFC South superiority goes. 8-4 versus 8-4 in Duval today. And if you look up, this was a stat from the Friday show, Jonathan Taylor versus the Jacksonville Jaguars all-time home road splits. Ready for this one? At home, which is not where this game is. 177 yards rushing, 116 yards rushing, 253 yards rushing. On the road in Duval, the running back one overall in the sport right now, Jonathan Taylor, at Jacksonville in his career. 19 rushing yards, 54 rushing yards, 22 rushing yards, 77 rushing yards. It's not a great track record for Jonathan Taylor in Duval, and Jacksonville's got a top 10 run defense in the sport right now. Washington at Minnesota. Jaden Daniels goes to Minnesota. He's healthy. He's back. Remember, we thought that he was going to be done for. We thought he broke his arm, broke his elbow, about a month and a half ago now, and now he's back. He's going to play today with Terry McLaurin, and they're only 1-point favorites at Minnesota. Miami at the Jets. New Orleans at Tampa. Mike Evans is trying to get back, so I think he has to have like 750 yards in the last 4 games to get to 1,000. I don't think that's going to happen. Bengals at Bills. Snow coming down in Buffalo for the game of the day. Denver can clinch a playoff spot with a win against the Raiders today. Of course, we got Bears and Packers for the game of the week on Fox. this afternoon. And then we got the Rams and Cardinals, where the Cardinals are completely beat to heck as far as injuries go, and the Rams are the favorite. But I appreciate you guys jumping in the chat this morning. We'll get to your questions here as we begin. Remember to go over to RosterWatch.com, become a pro or a premium member today. Click that like button, click subscribe if you're here today. We appreciate you. We love you for doing that each and every single weekend. Mikey I says, good morning, RosterWatch. Bo Nix or Ty God? Not really that close for us, I'll be honest with you, Mikey, but I appreciate the question. I know it's Knicks, but last time they played, the final score was 10-7, and Knicks got me less than 6 points. Thanks, bro. So I get the theory, 100%. Don't get me wrong. I get the theory with Bo Nix, but I'm not worried. They're going to be in Vegas this time, in the Dome, and they have they have a playoff spot on the line. The Denver Broncos do. Again, they are 2 spots ahead of the Chargers right now in the top of that division. They're 4 spots ahead of the Chiefs, and they're like 8 games ahead of the Raiders. And now we only have 4 games after this left. So a win here gets Denver up to 11 and clinches them a playoff berth. I think they know that's at the forefront of mind. And the second matchup is not usually, second matchup in divisional games, unless the teams are equal, is not usually a repeat of the first game. I guess would be the easiest way to explain that. If it's close, if you're thinking like Denver, Los Angeles, right? And that game's tight and they suppress it, that could be tight again and they could suppress it. But I'm not really worried about that happening again with a superior team in Denver. I know people, if you're over on RosterWatch.com, there's a question because Derek Carty on the Blitz show with Alex on Friday brought up Ashton Jeanty as his favorite play of the weekend, which is going against the grain would be the easy way to put that, based on everything we've seen from Jeanty this year, based on everything we've seen from the Denver defense this year, and the numbers, everything's telling us that's not right. But the projection system is telling us it is right. And so could that be a play this week? Be careful benching Ashton Jeanty if you need something. I'm very hesitant in certain situations. I'm choosing others over Jeanty. I think there was a question on Roster Watch this morning. It wasn't really phrased that well. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. There's a question about Harvey and Jeanty and Michael Wilson. Would you bench Jeanty in favor of those 3 guys? I said I would bench Jeanty in favor of Michael Wilson. That was how the question was phrased. So in that situation, again, but the problem is with that is we have Michael Wilson as a top 20, top 15 play this week. I know I got way off of your answer here, your question here, Mike, but the answer is Bo Nix. That's where I'm going here. I'm not going to ride with Tyrod this week. What do we do with Lamar? Is AD Mitchell a must start? Must start is a reach, but playable is for sure. We have consensusly ranked him at a wide receiver 28, which is just a notch ahead of T. Higgins, Brian Thomas, Chris Godwin, Jordan Addison, Romeo Dobbs, just to give you the idea of the group that he's in right now in the official rankings list for us at Roster Watch. The highest ranking he has is back end wide receiver 2 from Alex. He has him as wide receiver 24 overall. As far as Lamar goes, I talked about this on Friday with Alex on the preview show. You guys should check that out. It's on podcast. It's on YouTube. So we go in depth for like an hour all across all the games on the Sunday slate. The problem with Lamar is if you pivot from Lamar to a Trevor Lawrence, or you pivot from Lamar to a, Jordan Love, like these guys that potentially are available for you in your league. I mean, you could even bring up a Tyrod Taylor or a Shador, something like this, right? You're like, well, it's a better matchup, but it's Lamar. I know Lamar's had back-to-back 7-point games, but before that he had a 25-point game, right? He didn't practice on Thursday because I think it's preparation. I think it's rest. I think it's trying to keep him healthier. They know they need to run the table. They know they need to win out to get to the playoffs. They're in the playoffs right now, I should say, as the top of the conference, but they have Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. Like, it's a tough stretch here. They can't really have a hiccup. And they need him to be healthy. I think that this Steeler game, this is the first of 2 this year, and the one on week 18 is probably going to be for the division championship. I think they're going to use Lamar. Do I think it's going to be an 18 carry game? No. But do I think it's going to be a Derrick Henry gets 24 to 28? Yes. And I think with that comes the threat of Lamar running out of the backfield. And that threat by itself is why you cannot bench Lamar Jackson unless you have a superior player this week. And like, unless you have a Daniel Jones, a Bo Nix, a Stafford, some of these guys that you potentially drafted much later in your draft, or you're holding a second quarterback for whatever reason, then I think you can tell yourself that story. Maybe a Jaden Daniels potentially. They were drafted close to each other though. Tua be borderline. I would still just roll with Lamar. I just can't. I can't get off of Lamar with a situation that is way too obvious to me that could show its head and be a 10 carry game for him, where he could, all he has to do is bust one. If he busts one run for 45 yards, scores a touchdown, you're in the green. I got a tickle in my throat for some reason. Next question. Gooner Boys. Good morning, Cordy. RIP ACC. RIP to the ACC. Here's my thing. The college football playoff is going to be announced here at the top of the hour. So about noon, was it noon East, 11 Central, something like this? We're going to get the official playoff rankings. I think Duke might get in. So I think that the committee, because I don't trust the committee. I put this on Twitter. I'm getting blasted for it because I don't trust the committee. Like, the committee has never once this year given us the inkling that, hey, we're going to follow by our own principles. And for those in the fantasy questions and don't care about college, I'll get to your questions here in a second. But the committee has lied to us through the whole process of what they actually care about. And the one thing that they've weighed more than anything that they didn't tell us they would is the eye test, because the eye test really shouldn't be weighed. They should have the ability to autonomously have a discussion like, oh, the numbers and everything puts us here. But if we think that team A and team B are really close, the eye test can have a tiebreaker. That's not how they've done it. And so the idea that they put JMU at 25th last week and Duke unranked, Duke could be 26, Duke could be 46. We don't know. The problem is strength of schedule is going to benefit Duke. Duke, that should matter. Duke has the wins in the ACC. JMU doesn't. Duke beat California. California beat Louisville. Louisville beat James Madison, if you want to do it that way, the transitive property. But the point is, with the eye test, Duke was more impressive last night than JMU was on Friday. JMU was a 3-point lead against Troy until there was 4 minutes left in that football game. You can utilize that against them. Like, they were 4 minutes left. They had the game wrapped up and they scored 2 garbage time touchdowns. Or you can say Duke beat the 17th ranked team in America and Darian Mensah looked really good. I think Duke might get in, Gooner Boy. But yes, RIP to the ACC. There was like 7 people in attendance last night. What a joke. Gooner Boy, pick 2 half PPR, Corum, Burden, Franklin. I like Corum and Franklin. Alex, I think, likes Burden a little bit more, but I like Corum and Franklin this week. I think that one's rather easy. I love Corum. I think I took the Corum rushing total in the DFS hyper picks tool this week. Gooner Boy also says Franklin, Gainwell, and Mitchell. I like Franklin and Mitchell for this one. I'm fading off of the Gainwell train this week. Crypto Podcast, you think Vele or Addison today? I'm not going to go Addison. I talked about this again on the Friday show because I don't trust the situation in Minnesota. As much as I love Addison, I don't trust the situation in Minnesota. I don't trust the fact that, like, Jefferson's going to get his targets, right? But does that mean Addison's going to get 6? And he's been overthrown so much the last month. I don't trust that, like, oh, he's going to get 6 targets. He's going to catch all 6, go for 60 and have a touchdown. Like, I think we're wish-casting a little bit of a luck here. And the Vele side is much more dependable, even though it sounds maniacal. It's something you might have never thought you'd be saying. The Vele side of the conversation is much more dependable right now. So I'm going Vele today. Crypto Podcast. Appreciate you for locking in. We got a super chat from France. So we're going to jump to that really quickly. Need 2 running backs, Monangai, Etienne, or Neal, and need 2 wide receivers, Franklin, Higgins, BTJ, Tucker, and Worthy. Appreciate you, big dog. He says need 3 wide receivers, actually. So 3 wide receivers off of this group means we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bench 2. I'm benching Worthy, and I got to double check this other one. So we got Franklin, nope. Thomas, no. Higgins, and Tucker. Tucker's my bench. I'm benching Tucker, and I'm benching Worthy this week, friends. And then at running back, you brought up Neal with Monangai and Etienne. Neal is going to be our running back 24 as a consensus right now. ETN is going to be a little bit higher than that, but Monangai, because of the injury this week, he's a little bit banged up. We got him a little bit lower. So it's going to be Neil and it's going to be ETN this week. Best of luck, France. France, appreciate you, brother. All right, back to Chris McCabe. Quick love for RosterWatch Pro. 4 out of 4 teams in the playoffs. Couldn't have done it without RosterWatch. RosterWatch is the best. Chris McCabe, you are the best. Appreciate you for locking in with RosterWatch all season long. All right. Boma Swag. I feel like your name changes every week, Bomi. Good morning, RosterWatch Nation. Moving day for the playoffs. You damn right it is. We talked about it last week, this Yahoo League of Continuation that a couple of you guys are in with, Alex and Trashman and myself. So last week we talked about how this league was like, the teams were 7-5, 7-5, 7-5, 7-5, 7-5, 7. There's a ton of them. This week, this is what it looks like. So we're 1 week out from the playoffs. Trashman's in first place, 8-5. I'm in second place, 8-5. Alex is in third place, 8-5. Then this is the rest of the league. 7-6, 7-6, 7-6, 6-7, 6-7, 6-7, 6-7, 6-7, 6-7. That's everybody else. So moving day in the playoffs, moving day for the playoffs is the definition of what this weekend is, because there's going to be a ton of teams on the cut line that miss it by points, not record, but points because of tiebreakers. So make the move today. Drop them on the table. Play for upside. Don't play for floor. Play for upside. If you miss, you miss. But you're always going to play for upside. Giles Lamont, good morning. PPR, Terry McLaurin or T. Higgins? Love me some Terry McLaurin today. This is a great question, Giles. Sorry. This is a great question, Giles. I love Terry McLaurin today. He gets back his quarterback in Jaden Daniels. They're going to be in Minnesota. On paper, it's not a great matchup, but on wax, it's a great matchup. Isaiah Rodgers can get got quick. This back end is soft in Minnesota. You're in the dome. I think there's going to be points here. I like Terry McLaurin as a top 18 play this weekend. We are consensus on that. We have him ahead of Watson, Metcalf, Sutton, Shakir, etc. So I love Terry McLaurin today. He's about almost 2 tiers better than T. Higgins in the rankings this week. Adonai Mitchell or Vele. Look at that. Vele is becoming the question air of the day. Adonai Mitchell against Vele. Let me double check on. Dang, Adonai's got him by a little bit. Adonai is gonna get the bump here for us as a consensus. Alex loves him some Devon Vele, but as a consensus, we like Adonai Mitchell as a top 30 play this week ahead of T. Higgins and Vele. Brissett or Lamar? I think this is a great one. It's a tough one. I answered this one on RosterWatch as well. And the direction that I went with it, let me pull it back up, because the way that question was asked, I think it was about floor. Let me find it really quickly. I asked it about an hour ago. Where did it go? We answer so many questions over RosterWatch.com, and that you can get if we don't get your questions answered today, or not today on the show, you can always go over to RosterWatch.com and get that question answered until lineup lock. I leaned Brissett for the floor and the garbage time guarantee, even though it contradicts what I just said about always playing for upside. That's where I would lean, though. At the quarterback position, I think it's a little more different than running back, receiver, tight end as far as playing floor and ceiling. If you need floor, you go Brissett. If you need ceiling, I think I'm just playing Lamar, and I'm willing to eat the 7 because I know it's a 7, and it can be a 44. That's kind of where I lean with the Lamar question, Steve. And I guess the way I would answer that is like, are you on the fringe? Are you in the playoffs? Are you out of the playoffs? Do you need to win this week to make the playoffs? Are you playing for seeding? If you're playing for seeding, I think I'm playing more floor play here. Actually, no, that'd be backwards. If you're playing for seeding, I'm playing more for upside. If you're playing to get in and you just need to have the points, I would play Brissett. So I think you're kind of fringy here, but it's all based on kind of what you need and how you feel. I like Brissett, but I will play Lamar. So that's going to be the one question I'm going to cower out on. Jordan Love asks the question, should I play my own wide receiver, Christian Watson, Michael Wilson, Metcalf, Pittman, and Sutton? Which 2 in PPR for wide receiver 2 and flex? Wide receiver 1 is Puka. So we need 2 of these guys. So we need Michael Wilson for sure. And then after that, I think it's going to be Sutton. Yeah, we got Michael Wilson at wide receiver 16. After that, it's going to be, they're back-to-back. back to back to back. Watson, Metcalf, Sutton, back to back to back. There you go. Pittman's like 4 spots lower than that. So we're going to go Watson and we're going to go Michael Wilson today. Jordan Love. Appreciate you. Best of luck throwing to your own guy. The only KRONL1K. Also, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Looks like we got some good questions coming up. Let me get to them here. Bombaswag says, man, I feel like today is BTJ day. PPR, Devonta Smith, or BTJ. QB is not good and a must win. Stroud, Tua, Shook are my best options with Big Brock on bye. Nice job on the triple B there. What I'll say, I do think it has BTJ day written on it. No Sauce Gardner. The way this thing's lined up with the banged up backfield, the problem is Jacoby Myers has been getting the targets. That doesn't mean that BTJ can't get them. I'm okay playing BTJ today over Devonta Smith. We don't have them that far apart. Both have great matchups. BTJ is a great matchup. Devonta doesn't. I'm cool playing BTJ today. Full health, no Sauce Gardner, at home. I like it. So I'm cool with that. Quarterback, though, Stroud, Tua, and Shook. I think I'm leaning into Tua if I double check my rankings. I do have Tua about 7 spots higher than Shook, who's 2 spots higher than Stroud. So I'm going to go Tua on that one. Best of luck, brother. Flex, full PPR, need 2 Hampton, Neal, and Godwin. Hampton, Neal, and Godwin. Let's see here. Let's check in with Trash Man's rankings. Hampton, Neal, Godwin. That's not right. That's not how you spell it. Godwin. Ooh, Neal's 56. Godwin's 59. We're going to go Neal today over Godwin. I thought that one was going to be close. Godwin's getting the targets. This is going to be a weird game today. I think that game specifically is going to be weird. You said you need 2. So we're going to go Neal and Godwin, actually. Hampton's going to be about 24 spots lower. So we're not going to go for Hampton. We'll go Neal and Godwin today, the Hoff. I think that's going to be a weird game. I think both guys are going to get work. Neal should get the bulk of the carries in the backfield, and Godwin should be the target leader for Tampa. So I'm going to lean into Tampa and Godwin. PPR, flex, Rachaad White or Keaton Mitchell. I'm going Keaton Mitchell. Merry Christmas to you as well. Scapirion FF. Merry Christmas and Keaton Mitchell to you. PPR, start 1, Gadsden, Barner, Strange, and Schultz. Love a good tight end question. Numero uno for us, though, this week is going to be Gadsden over Schultz as far as the rankings go. Those other two are going to be a little bit further down, even though we love us some Strain. Wait, why? This is not ranked in order. Take that back. I was going to say this is not ranked in order. I love Strange. Strange is ahead of Gadsden. I was going to say that was wrong. I don't know why that was sorted that way. I'm going to go Strange here. We have Strange. I have Strange tight end 5 overall. The projections have him as 11th. But as a consensus, we have him at 7. But that is 4 spots better than Gadsden as a whole. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with Strange today, as I thought. But I do like Gadsden, even though it's a tough matchup. But I'm going to go Strange for the 1 player. Morning, Tyrod or JJ2. I had to drink one for you, GT. Tyrod or JJ McCarthy. The benefit you have here is they both has top 5 matchups this week. One of them is playing indoors. One of them is not. That's where I'm going. I listen, I like Tyrod, but we're talking about the Northeast. We're talking about snow right now in Jersey. I'm not playing this game. I think Miami's going to win this game. I don't want to play the Tyrod Taylor getting me points thrown to Adonai Mitchell whole situation. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with JJ McCarthy. Oh, that would hurt. That would hurt my stomach to even say because I love JJ, but douche. No, we can't do it. Wait, did you just update? We got Shook? Can we put Shook? Is this the same question? Same league, same everything? I'll play Shook against Tampa in Tampa. Give me Shook. 100%. Let's do it. I feel the crying, but I'll take this over McCarthy. I'll take it. Best of luck, GT. You're in a tough spot, but we all get in tough spots sometimes, especially in setting some lineups. Quarterback, Stafford or Burrow. We have Stafford as our 3rd overall quarterback this week. Feel good about that. Burrow's got a tough one today against Buffalo. He'll show up. The problem is just weather. Today, there's already footage dropping of snow in Buffalo. No wind, and it's not going to be too cold, but it will be snowy. The total's at 54, 53. There's going to be points in this game. I'm not saying I'm worried about the situation, but it is Buffalo, so it's not Buffalo and Cleveland, the two least dependable weather situations, and we do have Stafford ranked a clean couple spots ahead of Burrow to begin with. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with Stafford this week. Best of luck, Big Meech. All right, on to the next one. Hey, I'm luckily not playing for the playoffs, but for my bye. Times are tough with bye weeks. Would you do Adonai Mitchell or Devin Neal for flex full PPR? I'm going Devin Neal today. And, buys are tough. This is the last week of buys. We're going to be done after this. No more buys. Hopefully we get all systems go, all things healthy. The one thing I will say is I do hate playing in the playoffs when buys are still in existence. Have 2 leagues today that playoffs have begun, and it's buys, and we have buys. So I can't play Travion Henderson this week because of buys, and that hurts. And that happened. I got booted in my one college fantasy football league, 70 teams. My team was 9-1, 9-2, made the playoffs as the number 2 seed, and half my team was on bye. And I got booted in the first round. It was complete fugazi, but it is what it is. I'm just glad you don't have to deal with that in hockey. We're going to go Devin Neal today in full PPR at the running back position. AZ Fox, man, sir, can y'all believe the season is already over? Hope all is well. Mojo, brother, hope all is well. Your name changed as well on the screen. AZ Fox is going to say, I remember the avatar face, but Mojo is usually the name attached to it. So appreciate you, brother. Best of luck. Hope all is going well this season. And can't believe it's December. Can't believe Christmas is a couple of weeks away. Can't believe the season, the fantasy season is almost over. Bumble Swag says 1 for PPR flex. Cortland Sutton, Quinshawn Judkins, Christian Watson. This one for me is easy. I'm going Judkins. This one for me it's a great matchup against Tennessee. I like Watson, but the Reed thing worries me with his return today. And then Sutton should be fine. He should be a good for a 14-15 piece. But I think Judkins has that in him as well with more upside. So I'm going to go Judkins here. Monangai, almost blocked you. Sorry. Monangai or Ken Walker. This one's going to be closer. I like Ken Walker pretty decisively. We talked about last week how heavily in I wanted to be on Charbonnet because Ken wasn't supposed to play. Ken was very questionable to doubtful on Thursday and Friday. He, of course, played, looked great against Minnesota on Sunday. They both ate. They both gave us double-digit fantasy points. Not great, but it's what Seattle's done all year. In this game against Atlanta, it's the number 2 matchup in the RosterWatch matchup tool, so I'm going to continue to ride the Ken Walker heat wave, even though Monangai did have a great week last week. Double bell cow against the Philadelphia Eagles. Tough to do. Do I think they do it again against Green Bay? No. Monangai's been banged up. He's been on the injury report all week. He'll get work. I'm just not sure he's going to get the double bell cow like he did last week. CFB committee picks and CFB net rankings both don't make any sense to me. None of it makes any sense. It's broken. It's blasphemy. They don't follow their own instructions. They don't follow their own principles. They don't follow strength of schedule or follow injuries or, they don't give credit to certain things, but they give credit to other things. It's all BS. It'll need to be fixed. They need a commissioner. They need to fix it sooner than later. And there should not be a G5 team in a Power 4 tournament, period. I respect G5 teams. I respect Tulane. Love them. Respect JMU. But let's be honest, man. Even Boise State with Ashton Genty got stomped last year when they got in the tournament. You need to be undefeated and unequivocally talented enough to play in that game. Like, I just think in the future, this thing's going to branch off. We're going to have Tournament 1, Tournament 2, Tournament 3. It's really going to be Division 1, Division 2, Division 3 at the Division 1 level. So you're going to have your FCS, your FBS, and then like a CFP or a P2 or whatever they're going to call it. That's going to be all the big dogs. And then the normal FBS will be, JMU can play in that. And, Rutgers and like the lower P4s that don't qualify for the big league. That's what it's going to end up being. But yeah, I agree with you, man. The whole thing's broken. Crypto Word. Thanks, broski. McCarthy is back, though. Yeah, but McCarthy stinks. I feel you, though. I sub my guy. Everybody smash the like button. Show support. Appreciate your crypto podcast. Appreciate that a lot, man. Thank you. Jaden Higgins or A.D. Mitchell, rest of season. Rest of season is a great question. Let me pull up. I think Alex dropped the rest of season. Strength of schedule. Playoff strength of schedule sheet here. Wide receiver, Houston. Who's got the better strength of schedule here? Houston's got the 30th ranked strength of schedule rest of season. The Jets are 23rd. So the Jets got Jacksonville, New Orleans, and New England for the playoffs here. Houston's got Arizona, Vegas, and the Chargers. So there we go. The 30th ranked strength of schedule rest of season for the Houston Texans. All right. We'll go. So that means I'm going to go into A.D. Mitchell. Start Shakir or Vele. I think I'm going to go Shakir. I like Vele, but Shakir's going to be like a clean dozen spots higher ranked. And he's going against Cincinnati. He's a top 12 matchup. So I'm going to go Shakir today. NFL youngest GM, Elick Cup, Ben Strange. Or Judy. I'm never playing Judy. Brenton Strange, Cup, and Elick. Amen. I'm not playing Judy, not playing Elick. I would debate Cup, but I just like Cup just hasn't been Cup. So I'm gonna go Strange here, PPR in the flex spot. I'm going Strange music. Swift, McLaurin, Godwin, or DJ Moore. That's a smash McLaurin for me. Just a notch ahead of Godwin, but I'm going to smash McLaurin into this lineup. Start Vele or Shakir. Again, going Shakir. Man, YouTube changed from name to Kip to my screen name at random times. Thank you, Kip. Yes, I don't notice the Boma swag. I feel like it's been different every week. Kip, yes, appreciate you, brother. Good morning, everyone. Bam Knight, Goddard, Barner. Brutal. Play Bam Knight. Rondé Gadsden or Kincaid. I'm going Gadsden. Kincaid's got the big knee brace on today, dealing with a hamstring injury. I think Knox has got most of the work during the week of practice at tight end. I'm going Gadsden. Jordan Mason or Zach Ertz for flex. Pretty shitty, I know. I'm going to go Ertz. Let me check with Trashman. I'm going to go Ertz, though. Ertz and Mason. I'm going to go Ertz. Yeah, we're going Ertz. Zach Ertz in Minnesota. He's catching 2 touchdowns today from Jaden Daniels. Brissett or Burrow. Oh, we got a super chat. Austin Bright, $5. Half PPR. Choose 2 at wide receiver. Christian Watson, Terry McLaurin, Olave, or DJ. Terry McLaurin's a hammer into the lineup for me today. And then number 2 is going to be Olave over DJ Moore. So we're going to go Olave and Terry. We're going Ohio State wide receivers, even though they lost last night. We're going to go with the Ohio State wide receivers. Appreciate you, Austin Albright. Thank you, and best of luck today. Back up to where we left off. Brissett, Burrow. Think there will be weather impact for Burrow. I do think there will be, but I still trust Burrow. Him and Brissett are closer together than Burrow and Stafford was. So I'm going to go Brissett versus Burrow, both bottom 10 matchups this week. We consensus have them really back-to-back, like 9.2 to 10.8 as far as their average rank. I have Brissett. Trashman has Burrow. Alex has Burrow. The projections have Burrow. The model has Burrow by 1. So I guess we're going to go Burrow. I'll bend the knee on Burrow. Debo or Adonai Mitchell this week. 2 spots difference for these guys, both middling matchups. Debo in Minnesota, Adonai against Miami. I'm going to go Adonai Mitchell back to back. This one is literally every other one of us. Model projection, Alex, Trashman, everything's different. Everyone's back to back to back to back. We're going to go Adonai this week. Ken Walker or Tyler Warren in the flex. Whew. I like Tyler Warren. Top 5 matchup against Jacksonville. I'm going to go Tyler Warren. If you go check out the Hyperpicks tool over at RosterWatch.com with a Pro Premium membership, you can see that we love some Indianapolis Colts and Jacksonville Jaguars in the picks this week. You got to fight for every inch. Pick 2, Swift, Warren, Vidal, Barkley. Damn. Speaking of another name that changed, that's not your real name. Mr. Akis. 83. Not his real name. I don't know why they keep doing this. And YouTube needs to go back to the go back to your screen names, not your whatever name that is that they keep plugging in, but it's different. Mr. Akis 83. Appreciate you, brother. I know what your name is, but it's like 18 letters. It starts with an M. Blowing my mind right now. Don't know why it says that. Breaking my brain, Mr. Akis. Swift, Jalen Warren, Vidal, and Barkley. I've had a couple of Barkley questions on the channel this morning, on RosterWatch.com as well. I don't think you can bench Barkley. Barkley or AJ Brown, I think, is a different conversation. I told him to play Barkley over AJ Brown. I think that's really close. For this situation, though, you got to pick two. I think you got to play Barkley, and then I think it comes down to those other two. Those are the three guys. And for us, it's Warren and got something in my throat this morning. It's Warren, and then it's Swift, and then it's Vidal. So we're going to go Warren, and we're going to go Barkley. Happy game day, Lamar or Jaden Daniels. Also need two full PPR, Hampton, Worthy, Higgins, King, Luther, Burden. I'm going with Jaden Daniels, and then the two for PPR, I'm going with Hampton, and the second one's going to be close. Let's check in on the trash man. He's going to have that's going to be tight. Worthy's ahead of Higgins, and Burden is ahead of both. So we're going to go Burden and Hampton. Burden and Hampton this week. Ruckus. Thank you. Ruckus. Odd question. Strange is my tight end. I need to either activate Kincaid or drop him. I have to drop Corum or Watson. Drop Kincaid. I'm dropping Kincaid. I love Strange. I trust Strange in this offense, and I'm not dropping Corum. I think you could possibly drop Watson with the Reed thing coming back, but they love Watson. They've used him a ton, and he's healthy. I'm dropping Kincaid. Hamstring injury. He's not the number one option. Good morning, Daniel Jones, Brissett, or Jordan Love. Brissett, 100%. Gosh. Struggling this morning. Where you guys land on Omari Hampton with him being back and Herbert hurt, maybe eased in? I think he's going to be eased in more than anything. He mentioned a dynamic duo with Vidal. The thing with Hampton, I don't think they would have activated him, and they're not going to play him tomorrow if they aren't going to give him snaps. We talk about this every week. It's like if they play, you play. If they don't, you don't. If it's a complete last-minute thing, it's 50-50. But they're already talking about him on Saturday night, playing on Monday. I'm good. I'm playing Hampton. He's going to be a back-end RB2, front-end RB3, so I trust it. Sent my question on X. Not sure if that's how I get through. I can pull up X, and I can do my best. Time to Pete. Normally, we just drop the questions on here or drop them on the site. We don't usually reply on X on Sunday morning, but I do appreciate it. Let's see here. I don't see the question. I see you. Let's see here. I don't see it. I don't see it. I see your account, but I don't see any question from you. If you got a question here, Time to Pete, please drop it here on the channel. Oh, there it is. Good question. Half PPR, choose one for both. Adonai Mitchell, Addison, or Franklin? Jefferson, Scary Terry, or T. Higgins? Look at that. The first Justin Jefferson question of the day. Ding, 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 ding. Time to Pete, 7989 gets the question of the day. I think it's tough. Jefferson, nobody wants to bench Jefferson, but you also can't trust Jefferson. I think he's going to get the targets, but as far as this game goes, you're talking about also Scary. T. Higgins isn't the conversation. To me, it's Scary Terry versus Jefferson. I trust Terry more. That's the problem. I trust Terry more than I do with Jefferson today. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you to play Terry McLaurin over Justin Jefferson. Even though it hurts me as a lifelong Viking fan, it hurts me to tell you that. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm telling you to do. That's what I believe that we should do. All right. Back to, you also had Adonai Mitchell, Addison, and Franklin. That one I think is going to be a little bit tighter between, I think it's going to be between Mitchell and Franklin. Mitchell's going to be our wide receiver 31. Franklin's going to be our wide receiver 30, back to back. Franklin gets the edge in that one as well. Best of luck today, brother. Thanks, homeboy. Best of luck these best ball streets. Thanks, MMQN7HD. Appreciate you, brother. All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys. Last question, Ray Gamer. This is non-PPR league, 6 points per touchdown. Which two would you start? Jefferson, Abuka, Sutton, or BTJ? Jefferson, Abuka, Sutton, or BTJ? See, I think the BTJ thing has legs here. Jefferson's still ranked high enough, though, for us. I think Jefferson's still ranked high enough for us that you can trust it. He's still top 16 play. The rest of the guys, as far as Abuka and Sutton go, Abuka is going to be, for me, a little bit lower than that. I like Godwin. And then as far as Sutton goes, Sutton's going to be a little bit further down than that. So I still got to go Jefferson with this specific question. Lamar, Burrow, or J5? I'm going with Jaden Daniels. And which tight end with the Kittle on bye? Waller or Fannin? That's probably the better question here. Waller or Fannin? We have Fannin as a consensus at tight end 12, Waller at tight end 14. Better matchup goes to Waller. I think better weather is going to end up going to Waller as well. I'm going to go Waller. Best of luck. If you had to drop one defense but keep one to roll with for the rest of the season and playoffs, which would you keep? Browns, Patriots. Browns get the Titans. Easy. Bears, Bills, Steelers next 3 weeks. Bears, Bills, Steelers next 3 weeks. Patriots, Bills, Ravens, Jets in the championship. Are you going to make the championship? Might be nice to hit the Patriots. I don't know if the Browns are much better, other than the fact that you have Myles Garrett, who's going to get you your sacks. I think that the Bear and the Bill game are gettable. Steelers, I think you can have a good game. Tennessee, they're going to have a good game. I think I lean with Browns. Great question, brother. Best of luck. Appreciate you guys all for tapping and locking in this beautiful morning. Go watch the CFP committee drop their shit rankings at the top of the hour. RosterWatch Nation, we love you. We appreciate you. Go over to rosterwatch.com. Get any questions you got on the website. Get the DFS Hyperpick tool and get your DFS lineups in. You got an hour and a half. Activations and deactivations will come out. They've been out. They're coming out. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll see you tomorrow.
This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.